Hello, this is Munho. Today I want to show you my piston elevator. These are instant call up and down piston elevators. I have two designs to show you. This one is a small footprint version. So I'm just going to show you instant call. So it instantly calls down, step in, and go straight up like that. There's a little ding dong sound. That's an optional thing, but same for the instant calling at the top floor. Push the button and instantly calls up and you go down. So this is an inspired elevator from a Cube-Hamster. I wanted to design my own and make it fancy and have a second version here that's customizable, more customizable. And yeah, I'll just show you, you can adjust the speed in the back. So now the speed is slow version. This is for like a multiplayer if you get stuck in the pistons. So you're not getting pushed forward and you slowly go up, and it's still instant call. So if you have a lot of lag or something like a slow computer, this is a better option. So I wanted to make it accessible, and you know, you can change the speed if you want to with this elevator. So it's a 4x7 footprint, so it's nice and small, and obviously these are the modular sections here, so it's layered by 2 and you just stack them on top of each other. So yeah, that's the smaller footprint one, and over here is a one with more settings, but it's 5x9 footprint. It's the same instant up and down elevator. So just call it down instantly, go up, and same for the down features. If you miss it, you can just call it anyway, it doesn't matter. Same for the bottom. So you can't really break this system. And this lever here is an easy way to just turn it to a slow speed. So right now it's the slow speed. So this one is a bit more fancy. Because I find myself getting really tired of going in the back and adjusting all the repeaters to slow it down. So that's why I made this design. So I'm going to show you how to build this one first, since it's the small and simple one. Should be pretty quick to build. And then second part, I'll show you how to build this one. So I'm just going to add chapters in the video. Like right now I'm running Minecraft 1.18.2, and the fast settings of these these old school piston elevators, it's not 100% reliable. You can get stuck. That's why I have it you know, optional adjustable speed wise, and that's why I made this version. Because if you have a really a smooth good computer with no lag, yeah, the speed is usually fine. So I flick this on, this is fast setting. And usually you don't get stuck, but in multiplayer you most definitely get stuck. But that's why it's adjustable in that sense. Before we start building the tutorial, I'll provide the world download for you to try it out on your computer and see if it works in your version. That's important to know before we actually start building this. So yeah, make sure it works. This is Minecraft 1.18.2. And these old school elevators still technically work on the fast speed. Okay, so before you start, we're going to have to lay the foundation. So I put my 4x7 footprint here, and this is where the pistons are going to be, so at the very front. And I'm also going to mark the modular sections, the layers, and I'm going to build a 10 high piston elevator for our tutorial. This here is the floor level for reference, and I'm just going to build how long my elevator is going to be. So the reference will be glass, and then a solid block, and then that's the second layer is blue, just a glass and solid block, and then just build that all the way up until I reach 10 high, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and then here's 10, and then this here is the top floor level right here, And then from here, we're going to build the purple at the top. So this is how it is, and you can build an 8 high, so you can actually put your floor here or here or here. This will probably wouldn't make any sense, but probably wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, wherever the solid block is, you can place where your floor level is. So yeah, but mine is this tall, and we're gonna be building this. Okay, so we're gonna start laying out the pistons in the back here. So the very first level here, we put the sticky piston on the left, and then we just keep interchanging that all the way up to the top here. So you can see where the solid block is, the sticky piston is on the right and the glass is on the left. So that's something to keep in note. And so when we hit the top floor, the sticky piston should be on the right side, all the way to the top. So right here is floor level, and then we're going to place our normal pistons in front of those, all the way up to the top. Oop. Like that. And then I'm just going to put whatever block I want for my wall and fill this in all the way. And then down here as well. And then here we're going to place one block there behind it as well. And then on the side we're going to place blocks on the side all the way up to the top, because these will get powered. So that's the first step. Okay, so next up we're going to build the interface at the bottom and the top floor. So we're just going to build our floor out here like this. And I'm going to go 2 out for extra space. And right here is where we're going to place our button. So just diagonally from that piston there, place the button. And then we're actually going to place our glass or blocks, if you want, all the way up to the top to keep us from being pushed forward when it's in the fast setting. And then here at the top floor, we're just going to fill in our flooring at the top and build our frame around here. And the button here is going to be at the right there at the top. So that's that. So now we're going to hook up the input circuit, so the red circuit, starting from this button here. And we're going to get power from there by placing a dropper here facing to the left. And then we're going to place a hopper there. So this is our monostable circuit. Put an item in there. It can be any item, just one item. And the way we're going to get power to that is by putting a note block from where the button is. So that's getting powered. And then an observer here. Facing down. This isn't, it looks like it's not powering anything, but it's actually going to update this dropper when it's pushed out. So if we place a block here and a comparator coming out from this hopper, we're actually going to see it get powered. As you saw there, it turns on and off. So that's why that observer is there, in order to power it. So we're going to draw this power going to the left here, and we're going to place a repeater on just one tick. And it's going to go into a block with the redstone dust there. 2 blocks out there like that with a repeater and redstone dust right there. And that's going to power this note block here, which will lead to the instant calling circuit. Now we're going to direct this to the actual input to this entire piston tower here, and we do that by placing an observer facing right from this redstone here. So it's going to update from that. It's going to go in towards the middle, and we're going to add a bunch of delays for the player to step on, and we do that by placing blocks like this with 2 repeaters there on 4 ticks of delay, and then 2 blocks out there like that, another 2 sets of repeaters on 4 ticks of delay. And then we're going to place an observer from this last repeater here, so it's picking up power from there, and it's going to go into these repeaters. One last one on 4 ticks of delay, and then that's going to go into this this white concrete block here with redstone dust, which is going to be the input to the green and the blue circuit that is hooked up to these pistons here. So that's the input, and if I push it, we can see the delay, and then there it activates. So it activates the instant calling first, and then secondly it goes down and powers the elevator. So now we're going to start the green and blue circuit, which is to power all these pistons. And we start at the bottom here. We're going to place blocks out like that next to this observer. So redstone there and a repeater coming from there. So this is going to power this piston. This is the first piston that we pushed up. And then from here we're going to build blocks out like this. So from this piston we're going to build 2 blocks out all the way up to the top like that. And then 1 here on the side of the sticky piston. And then diagonally to there, we're going to place blocks filling in there, except for the top. We don't need a block here since we're not going to be powering this piston when it's pushed up. Then we're going to place repeaters here, all the way down, with the right one being on 4 ticks of delay. So it's the one that's going into the piston. Except for the top here, we're going to put the left one on 4 ticks. So at the very top, we'll put the left one on 4 ticks, powering in this block. And then we're going to put 1 tick with delay repeaters in these caps here. Also 1 on this top of this note blocks. So when these get pushed out, it's going to power the block, which will push the normal piston upwards. So that's the green side. And for the blue side is the same, just diagonally downwards. So we're going to place a block down there and 2 out like that. Just bring that all the way up to the top. That, and then block on the side of the sticky piston, and then a bridge filling in all the way up to the top. Repeaters in here, and the one that's going in the piston, 4 ticks of delay. And a bit different here, we're going to just put redstone dust on the side, right there all the way down. So that's the green and blue circuit. Alright, so now we're going to do the white circuit, which is to hook up power in the green and blue circuit all the way up to the top. And it's something that travels downwards and upwards at the same time. So we're going to place, from here we're going to place target block here. So behind the repeaters, we're going to place a target block like that. And we just bring that all the way up to the top. And then we stop there. And then we're going to place blocks on the side of this, extend it out by 1, all the way down there. Same on this side, all the way there. And then we're going to place redstone dust on top of these. And then we're going to place a repeater facing to the left, apart from this top bit here. We're going to place a repeater all the way down, like that. And then we're going to place comparators facing the opposite direction here, so above this observer. Place a comparator, and that's going to be on subtract all the way up to the top. So comparators on subtract facing to the right. And we don't need one here. And then that's actually it. We're going to test it now, but we need to place a furnace and a movable object on top of this, so on the right column here, because pistons will actually get pushed up when we test it, which is not what we want. So make sure to put a furnace right there. So if we test it, it should bring us up. Just like that. And now we're going to hook up the instant calling. Alright, so now we're going to hook up the instant calling, which is to control these comparators. It's actually going to be both the down and instant calling from the bottom floor. So what we're going to do is place a repeater that's going into the comparator at 4 ticks delay. So we're just going to place blocks all the way up to the top, the side of these comparators, with repeaters on 4 ticks of delay. And we'll just bring that out by 1 because we need to get power into those repeaters. The redstone dust behind it. And we're actually gonna, our instant calling starts here. So we're just gonna place an observer facing up and then another note block. So it's gonna power the redstone dust, which will also update this observer from the top. So we're just gonna interchange this all the way up to the top. And then we stop here, just place a block there to power that. And this is our instant calling. So if we test it now, it should instantly call down and bring us up. All right, now it's time to hook up the top button and get our instant calling at the top and descending motion from here. So from this button here, we're going to place our dropper. So this is our monostable circuit once again. I'm going to place an item in there, just one item, and we're going to draw power from there with a comparator. So if I push this button, turn that comparator on and off. And then we're going to put a block there with redstone dust. And then we're going to bring it down one like that with a repeater here on 2 ticks of delay, like that. And then on the side of this block, we're going to place an observer facing down. This is going to be the start of our descending motion. And then we're going to bring it to the left there, like that. We're going to place a redstone dust right on top of here. And also a repeater here on 4 ticks of delay. And we're going to draw power by placing a torch on the side of this block. And the block there, redstone dust on top. Target block, so the redstone faces this direction, and the torch here like that. And then the instant calling is actually going to be powered from here. So when we push the button, this will turn on, which will power this dust, which will bring the signal all the way down instantly. So that's that, and this is set up like this because we actually need this to pulse twice. So if we push this button, we see the observer pulse 3 times. So the first and the third time is enough to power these repeaters on 4 ticks, and they actually stay on for 8 ticks, which is enough for the descending motion. Because if it was just 1 pulse and 4 tick, it's not enough to actually turn the comparators off, and the elevator just stays up. Stays extended basically. So we're gonna have to put power into these, and we do that by doing this motion here. So from the observer that's facing right, we're gonna go down and then to the left, and then down and to the right. And we just repeat that all the way down. We can see this one is powering this dust, so we just go down to the left and down to the right, all the way down like this. It's a bit awkward to do this, but it works. And just make sure that all the observers facing right are going to be powering that redstone dust. And that should be it, honestly. So if I test this now, our downward motion should be working. Just like that. And if we go up again and do the instant calling, instantly calls up and brings us down. So that works. So you actually have a finished elevator now, but if you want to add note blocks to the system, I'll show you how to do that. It's optional. It's actually very simple at the top. We just place a note block here next to this target block, and we're going to place one on the side of this green block. So that'll give us our ding dong, and this one needs to be right-clicked 15 times. So 15 times, and this one is 10 times. So 15 and 10, and now we just got to find a spot at the bottom, and I do this like this. So at this target block here, I place a redstone torch, and that's our first note block. And then I'm gonna place 2 blocks there like that. and a repeater there on 4 ticks of delay. Redstone dust there, and then a torch here with our last note block. And you can see it's actually being changed by this glass block, so we can just take that out. We don't really build anything on this, but yeah, make sure there's nothing underneath this note block, unless you want to customize it. But yeah, we got to right click this one 15 times, and this one 10 times. So that's that. Now if we test it, we hear the ding dong at the top and at the bottom. So that's an optional add-on, and you can actually customize it however you want. That's just how I fit it in this circuit. But yeah. Alright, so finally I'm going to show you how to change the timing, the speed of the elevator. So if you want like this on multiplayer and you lag and you want to get stuck in the pistons, you can, I'll show you how to slow it down. So the way you slow it down is by going in the back here with these repeaters that's facing to the left on top of these target blocks. We set these on 3 ticks of delay, all the way up to the top. From there, and yep. And then now on over here, these repeaters, we set these to 2 ticks all the way. And that's how you make it slow. So if we test it now, it should be slow. And yeah, it's the speed, and then everything else works just fine. So that's how you change the speed of the elevator. So just remember that you change those 2 repeaters, the one on the target block, 3 ticks, and these on 2 ticks. And for fast speed, just 1 tick on both of them. So yeah, that's important to know. But other than that, you have a finished elevator. And yeah, I hope it works and that you guys like it. But from here, now I'm going to move on to this customizable one for those who want to learn how to build this one. But if you're not here for that one, then I believe you are satisfied, hopefully. Thanks for watching. This is Munho, and yeah, see you later. Okay, guys. So if you're here for the elevator with the speed setting, this is one is a bit more complicating. But I'm gonna start at the beginning, like the same format as before. And what we're gonna have is a 5x9 footprint here, and this is where the the actual piston elevator is going to be. So we place it there, and here is the actual modular measurements. The purple is just the non-modular, so it's like the button circuit. And we're actually going to build a 10 high piston elevator. So going to place a glass and a solid block, and we're just gonna layer that with the red and blue, so that these are both essentially the same, just layered on top of each other. And just going to bring that all the way up until we have 10 pistons. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's there, and right here is actually where the top floor level is going to be. So that's where you stop. And this can be like wherever you want. So if you want it at 8 blocks, it'd be there. Maybe 6 is your floor level. But make sure it's a solid block and not the glass block, because it's important that your floor level is where the solid block markings are. So that's important to know. And actually the floor level for the bottom floor is there next to that purple. And also the non-modular part for the top. So that's just 3 blocks there. So that's how tall my elevator is going to be. Alright, so to start building, we're going to lay out the pistons first. So the first thing we're going to do is place our sticky piston here. So the first layer is going to be a sticky piston on the left side, and that's very important. So this footprint here is the glass layer is a sticky piston on the left, and the solid block is a sticky piston on the right. So when we build up to the floor level, the sticky piston should be on the right side. So we're just going to build this up here diagonally to each other until we reach the top. And right there. So you can see the pistons on the right, and that's where we stop. And then we're just going to place normal pistons in the front of those sticky pistons facing up. And just place whatever block you want. It doesn't have to be immovable, this is just my block of choice. And just fill that up there. Same for here, and also one behind this normal piston. And then we're going to build walls up on the side that'll get powered all the way up to the top, like that. So we should have something that looks like that. So now we're just going to build the interface at the front. So we're just going to build our floor out like that, and bring that out too for extra space. And we're going to have our button placed at the right there. So that's where the button's going to be, at the bottom floor. And then at the top floor, we're just going to bring this out here like that. And we're going to place blocks like this with our frame around here like that. And for the top floor, our button's going to be placed right there. So that's what that looks like. And then very important, since this is has a fast motion elevator, we're going to place blocks or like stain or glass in front so we don't get pushed out to keep us in. So we just bring that all the way up. And yeah, so that's the design. Okay, so the first circuit we're going to do is the red circuit, which is the input circuit, which is probably one of the most complicating circuits to do. So we're already starting off hard, but yeah, we'll just hopefully you can follow through, no problem. So we're going to draw a signal from this button using this dropper here, and make sure that's facing out here in this direction. So this will power this, and going to place a hopper that's going back into the hopper. So this is our monostable circuit here. And right next to the button, we're going to place a note block. So if I push the button, it's going to power that. And we're going to place an observer facing down here, which will update this dropper, which will power it. So if we put, here we go, we hear a click. And we need to put one item in here. So just one item, and that will move it into the hopper. And now we take the signal from the hopper into this comparator here, and that's going to go into a target block that's there, and it's going to draw power for this redstone dust right there. Then we're going to place a block extending out there with redstone dust on top, and then we're going to place our note block there, which is going to be the start of our like instant calling for the bottom floor. But we're going to place a block on top of that, and then what we're going to do is actually probably need to dig out these glass blocks out there like that, so we have room to build stuff. We're going to go underneath, and we're going to place an observer that's facing down, so make sure that's pointing downwards. And we're going to place a repeater here on 4 ticks of delay, which will update this observer at a delay. And then what we're going to do is come down here, bring these observers all the way out until we hit right there. So make sure they're all pointing outwards. This is a bit awkward looking, but this is how I keep the circuitry small. And then we're going to bring it up. So this thing is going to come out and then up and then to the right here. That's pointing the direction of our input. And then we're going to place an observer right here facing downwards. And we're going to place a repeater there at 4 ticks of delay. So you can see it's going to pick up power, and then it's going to update down below, which will then power these observers that are facing in this direction. And then that's going to finally power these this redstone dust here with a repeater here on 4 ticks of delay. And then this is going to be going into a block, and so this is our white concrete. It's going to be the start of our white circuit, which will power our column of pistons there. Okay, so before we move on to the next circuit, we actually got to hook up a bit more to the instant calling. We're going to place an observer from this note block that's facing to the left with a sticky piston pointing upwards and a block on top. I'm just going to use a log because this is a block that's moving by the piston up and down. So this piston will actually be the start of our instant calling, which will also hook up to the speed setting. So the yellow circuit, the speed setting, the lever, which is what we're going to hook up next. Okay, so before we move on, I actually made a mistake. So I'm going to clarify some things. So we're going to go to our dropper here, our input. So instead of a single item, we actually need to put a non-stackable item in here. So a wooden shovel. I'm just going to put a wooden shovel in there, and that'll give this comparator stronger signal strengths for it to reach the signal. So that's something I forgot to do. The other thing we need to do is actually, if we push this button, this piston right here will actually power on and off, which is what we don't want. So if I push this, so you see there it turned on and off, which is not what we want. So what we need to do is actually lower this piston by 1, so we break that and then place it there. And then what we're going to do is infinitely extend that by placing a comparator there and a cauldron. This cauldron needs water in it, so just place water. And there, now it is extended, and now nothing will be extending it on and off. So those are some things I wanted to clarify. All right, so moving forward, what we're going to do next is hook up the yellow circuit, the input to the yellow circuit, which is our lever. So we're going to place our lever there at the front, and we're going to draw power from there from below, placing some redstone dust there. And we're actually going to knock out that block so we can place our note blocks. This is obviously optional. It's just something fancy I like to add, but yeah, you can do whatever you want. And we're going to place a torch next to that note block there, and place our second there. So when we turn it on and off, I'll just give an example, just put that on 1. Yeah, it gives a different sound for when you turn it on or off. All right, and then we're going to place an observer coming from that note block to the left, and we're going to place a block there and 2 blocks there with redstone dust on top. So it's going to power the piston and toggle it on and off, which will it'll instantly call the elevator down by default, but it'll also toggle the speed settings we'll add later, which is the rest of the yellow circuit. But for now, I do this, and the settings I have for our note block, I just like to add glowstone underneath there. And this one, I actually right-click 22 times. So if you haven't right-clicked it yet, just right-click it 22 times. Right there. And then this one is 10 times. Oops, that's wonderful. Don't look. All right, there we go, 10 times. And that's just my personal preference for these settings. So I have a texture pack, but this lever is showing on, which is the speed mode, and that's off. So high pitch sound is for speed. What you can do is for if you want something more visual information, you can replace it with a lamp if you like that better. So yeah, that's something you can just do for yourself. Okay, so now that we've finished the entire input circuit at the bottom, it's finally time to hook up some redstone for the pistons. And it's the green and blue circuit, so the green is the left side and blue is the right side. And we're going to start at the bottom here. We're going to place 2 blocks out there like that. And we're going to place redstone right there and a repeater at the back. And we're going to cut this signal off right here, placing a block there. So this is to power the piston at the bottom here. So this is the first piston that's going to extend. And then we're going to create this pattern here by placing 2 blocks out there like that from this piston. And bring that all the way up to the top. And then we're going to place a block on the side of the sticky piston, covering it up. And then diagonal to that, we're going to build out there like that. We don't need to place one here since this piston isn't going to get extended when it's pushed out. So just leave that. And then we're going to place repeaters at the back here going into these. And then the ones that's facing the pistons going to be on 4 ticks of delay. Except for the top here. This one's going to be on 4 ticks of delay on the left. So going to that block. And then we're going to place 1 tick delay repeaters right here, facing out. So that's like that. And then on the right side, the blue circuit is pretty much the same. I'm going to place blocks out there like that, all the way to the top. And then we're going to cover up the side of these sticky pistons with target blocks, all the way down. And then here we're going to bring it diagonally downwards, so a block there, and bring that all the way up. Then we're going to place our repeaters. And the one next to the piston is on 4 ticks of delay. And this one here is actually on 2 ticks of delay, so put these on 2 ticks. Like that. And then we're going to fill these with redstone. And you can see that this target block is directing it towards there, so it doesn't power anything next to it. And that is the green and blue circuit done. Now it's time to add the white circuit, which is to connect everything up, the green and blue circuit up. And it's a signal that travels both up and down really fast. So what we're going to do is place target blocks behind the inner repeaters. So I'll place a target block there and one there, and we're just going to bring that all the way up to the top. And we're going to stop there, and then we're going to place blocks on the side of these, extend it out by 1 all the way down. Same for the blue circuit. And stop there. Then we're going to place redstone dust on the sides here. And also on the sides here. And then we're going to place a repeater facing to the left. Don't put one on top here, just place it down here. All the way down. And actually, I should probably place the target block there with a comparator. So that's going to have a comparator facing to the right on subtract. And we're going to bring that all the way up to the top as well. Not the top part. And that should be the white circuit done. Okay, so I went to check the original build, and this doesn't have to be a target block actually. You can just replace it with a normal block at the bottom there. Just place our subtract. So that's just a clarification. Alright, so now we're going to add the pink and gray circuit, which is the actual control for the timings and stuff to change the speed of the elevator. So what we're going to do is control the timings of these pistons on the sides here, and we do that by placing 2 blocks like that, and bring that all the way up to the top and stop there. And then we're going to place redstone dust that's leading into the target block, and then 1 tick delay repeaters pointing into there like that, and also target blocks on the side of this, so it's directing power, and we just power this repeater all the way down. that. And for the pink circuit, we're going to be placing observers on the sides of these redstone dusts here. So just bring that all the way up to the top. Stop there. And then we're going to place blocks next to it and in front. And the blocks in front are going to have redstone dust on top. And these ones here are going to have a repeater. So it's going to lock the repeater for just a little bit to add a bit of delay to it, which will slow down the elevator. So we'll just leave that for now. There's nothing actually controlling these. We're going to be moving these target blocks, and there's going to be blocks that will connect these. So we'll add that later. But for now we can actually test the elevator, and it should be the fast speed by default. So if we push the button, we should go up extremely fast, just like that. And it's actually stuck in that state. So we'll move on and add the other stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is add the instant calling, as well as the speed setting controller. So what we're going to do is put in signals into these comparators all the way down. So we're going to put a block next to the target block all the way down below. And at the bottom here, we're actually going to put an upside down half slab, just so if this was a block, wouldn't want to power it diagonally from this piston. And then we're going to place repeaters on 4 ticks of delay into those comparators. All the way up like that. And then we're going to place target blocks behind those repeaters. Just like that. And then we're going to place a block diagonally to the target block all the way up. And it's going to have redstone dust on it. Get my redstone dust. Place a redstone dust there. All the way down. And now we just got to hook these up. And I'm actually going to move this log into the other state. So I just extend it there. And then I'm going to place an observer facing to the left with a note block there, which will power this redstone. And then we're going to bring the signal up with the observer pointing up, and a note block there, and then an observer, and just keep interchanging that all the way up to the top. And here we can just place a block there. And that should be our instant calling setup now. So if we push the button, it should instantly call down and then go back up. So that's working. Now we're going to set up the speed controller, so the pistons that control these blocks here. And we're going to place a piston in line of this target block. So this piston is going to grab this target block, which will control this repeater. And just bring that all the way up to the top. Like that. So that's all in line. And then we're going to place sticky pistons next to it. So it's facing to the left here. And we're going to go all the way down there. So just fill these gaps in next to the sticky pistons. And then we're going to place solid blocks in front of those sticky pistons. I'm putting just a log because these are blocks that move by the pistons. I think it looks aesthetically pleasing. Now to get power into these, we're going to place blocks next to these sticky pistons in the back, all the way up to the top. And actually we need to place this with a note block, and then there, and block on top, with redstone dust there. And we're going to place redstone all the way down. Just like that. So that should be working, and if we test this out, it should be working. So yeah, right now it's actually not in the fast state. The fast state, I want the lever to be on. So if I switch this here, it should pull in all those and instantly call down the elevator. So right now this is the slow speed elevator, because it's not using the 1 tick, it's going to the 2 tick here. And if we look at the logs here, it is now going to lock the repeater here, which will be about 3 ticks instead of 1 tick. So these logs got spat out. So now if we test the elevator, it should be a slow speed. And there we go. So if we flick it to the fast speed, reset, push the button, and it should be fast. So that's working. So now it's time to add the input circuit at the top of the elevator for our instant calling and our descending motion. So we're going to start by placing a dropper at the back of this button here with a hopper facing inside the dropper. I'm going to place an item inside, create our monostable circuit. Then we're going to draw a signal with a comparator. It's going to go into this redstone here. And our instant calling is going to go from this torch and a block here with redstone dust on top, and then a torch here. So when this turns on, it will repower this dust here, which will travel the signal all the way down, instantly calling the elevator from the top. And then for our descending motion, we're going to have to be able to control these dusts here. And we do that by placing this pattern here. So we're going to place blocks like that. So this redstone is going to a block here, and it's going to go into a repeater on 4 ticks of delay, and then a repeater down here at 1 tick. And this repeater will power this block right here. And then there's going to be an observer facing down here, and it's going to have redstone dust right on top. And it's going to be the start of our descending motion. Basically what this is it turns our 4 tick pulse into a 5 tick pulse. So this stays on for at least 5 ticks, which will make this pulse twice. And it'll be just enough for these repeaters at 4 ticks to stay on for actually 8 ticks. So this will stay on for 8 ticks and travel downwards, because if it was just a single pulse for 4 ticks, these will not be turned off long enough for the elevator to reset, so it would actually stay in the extended position. So that's why this circuit is in here, to keep that from doing that. So now we're going to add our observer pattern, which is just one here facing down, and then this one to the right, and then that one down, and then this one to the left. So that's a pattern we're going to repeat all the way down. So if we bring it down and then to the right, it's going to power this dust here, and then down to the right, left, down to the right, all the way down at the bottom. This is very awkward to place, but it works. Just like that, and make sure that the ones that are facing right are going to power the redstone dust. So once you do that, that should be the end of our elevator. And we can add the note blocks later, but if we test it, we should go down now. Just like that. And if we click the button again, so the elevator is already down, should instantly call it up. And you go down again. So we just test. Works both up and down. This one goes down, go up. So now you have a working elevator. We'll just add the note blocks for like as an option. So now we'll just add the ding dong note blocks at the top floor, since it's really simple at the top floor. And we're just going to place a note block there next to this repeater, and also one here next to this target block. And this one will be right clicked 15 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. And then this one is 10 times. And if we test this now, just here, there it is. And if we hit ascend, we're going to hear ding dong at the top. There we go. Now at the bottom, it's a bit different. We're going to place a torch next to this white block here at the very bottom of our white circuit. And then we're going to place a block there and 3 blocks there like that. This will have redstone dust next to it. And this will have redstone there and a repeater at 4 ticks. And then that's going to power this redstone dust right there. And our note blocks go here. So it's our second note block. And make sure to get rid of the glass below. We don't really build anything at this level, but they're just there for measurements. So make sure there's nothing underneath the note block, unless you want to customize it. And the first one actually goes right here, next to this redstone dust, and make sure there's nothing underneath it. So this one will be 15. Right click 15 times on this one, or however you want, it doesn't matter. This one is 10. And that should be everything. So if I call the elevator down, it'll make a ding dong. And then once you reach the top, it'll ding dong again. Then same for the bottom. So that's the optional ding dong, and you can do whatever you want with it. I just fit it in this footprint to make it nice and small. But yeah, you can add timings to it or something if you think it's too quick. But other than that, yeah, you have your finished elevator. And you can cover it up all the way up to the top like this, extending this out by 1. And I mean, this is not going to be here, but you'll have a nice flat flush wall with no redstone whatsoever. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. So I built both elevators, which yeah, this tutorial took a very long time to make, but I hope it yeah, it made you a nice elevator. And I'll provide the world download so you can check out this world and take a closer look at the elevators yourself. So yeah, I'll leave that in the description. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed your elevator and also enjoyed watching my tutorial. And if you wish to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. But yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Munho, and yeah, see you next time. See you later, guys.